Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is Tanya, and today this video is for all the Sagittarius suns, moons, and risings. I love y'all so much. Honest to goddess, you're absolutely one of my favorite signs. And specifically, it's for your full moon in Pisces that just happened a few days ago on September 2nd, 2020. As you hopefully know, friend, full moon influences last at least 2 weeks and more so 1 month until the next full moon, because that's how that cycle works. It's how it just functions in our lives. So by the end of this vid, you're gonna have your full forecast. All right, Sagittarius, we got our Rise Against shirt on. We just got out of the shower, so it's all wet and looks stained, but it ain't. It's just H2O. I love Sagittarius people. Quick divergent. Sagittarius people, you're like that Michael Franti song to me. Like, what does he say? The sound of sunshine. That's the sound of sunshine coming down. That's you. That's freaking Sagittarius all day long. I love you so much, okay? Literally. Now, moving forward, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you're subscribed. If this video brings you value in any way, shape, or form, hit the like button and support a Sagittarius loving sister out, okay? This vid is for, as I said, I think I said Allah. If I didn't say that, this is a specific request. I'm only gonna do vids for y'all by sign now. If you request it, that's just how I'm gonna work for the time being. So Allah, I hope I'm saying your name somewhat correct. I knew somebody named Allah once, and there's at least 2 ways to say that because y'all have different inflections that mean like God or a name. So I hope I'm saying it somewhat correctly. And thank you for your video request. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to check out what is going on for Sagittarius under this full moon and what you can expect for the next like 4 weeks. Okay. So as you can see, if you are a Sagittarius, putting that here, right, this would be like if this was your ascendant sun or moon, then the moon itself was happening in your 4th house of Pisces. And so there were events, or they're going to play out more over the next couple of weeks, at least for you as a Sagittarius in the home. And also where you're from, Sagittarius people, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Sag people out there right now who over the next few weeks have an experience with where they grew up that is speaking to them very profoundly. Okay, so I think that like if you are going back home at this time for any kind of holiday celebration, or if you're just like venturing back to where you were from, you know, your roots basically, or even in communication with people from those environments. This could be your mother. This could be, especially because the moon is there in the 4th house, there's like super moon mother energy present. It's the moon and it's in the 4th house, which naturally corresponds with lunar energies. So I think there's that, but also let's not forget that the sun is in Virgo over here with Mercury, the planet that rules Virgo at this time. So what does that mean? Well, what house is that for y'all? That's your 10th house. So your 10th house and your 4th house are being very much so activated, Sagittarius. And I think that there's a lot of Sagittarius out there who probably be going through some career shifts and energy, but in a really good way, like things are working out for you in that way. And you know, it might involve some really in a lower vibration. If you are experiencing more challenges in this, it might involve some challenges with like people being manipulative or not showing you who they actually are. And maybe now under the lunation of the full moon, where it's like really expressed and lit up, right? There's nothing is hidden under full moons. It's coming to light because Mercury is colleagues, coworkers, friends, connections, just like people in your work environment. And it's opposite Neptune, and Neptune is like the planet of illusion and disillusionment eventually, right? And basically like where you get lost off trotting around with the ethers of energy. And I think a lot of Sagittarius people are having this come to light in their career. So it could be like people from home have been like gaslighting you, and now you realize what you need to do with your career is a little different than what they've been telling you. Or just the opposite, friend. It could be like at work, people have been super deceiving, and now at home through a wise feminine presence in your life, whether that's a mother or a really compassionate, loving sister, somebody who you've grown up with, or even a partner, if they're like definitely a part of like home for you as a concept, Sagittarius, that person is either going to be showing themselves like more honestly and how they've been, kind of like an illusionary, like not totally honest force in your life, or they're going to be helping you come out of some deceit that you've been experiencing in your career life, and just like what's been going on with that kind of narrative of your public career life, because that's your 10th house, and the sun is there lighting it up with all of its glorious energy at this point in time. Now, what else is going on? There's of course this deliciously sexy grand trine in earth signs, which is fantastic because it really helps alleviate some of this tension that we're seeing here. I mean, look at all of the squares, and not to mention Mars is definitely engaged in a T-square. Mars is T-squaring Saturn, which is conjunct Pluto and Jupiter, cannot be ignored, Sagittarius. And also, you know, Mars is squaring Venus, which is all about femininity. So the feminine is really going up against some stuff right now, some shit right now, because look, she's opposite this Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn conjunction, which is just really intense. And there's just a lot of us as people and as women standing up. So if you're like a woman with Sagittarius energy, or even if your moon's in Sagittarius energy, this message might resonate more for you. But, you know, just like the feminine energies are going through it. And what house is this? This is your 8th house. So from Sagittarius energy, whether that's your ascendant sun or moon over here in Sag, Venus is in your 8th house. So themes of like loss and death and restructuring your relationship with loss and death, and how to like transform loss and death into something new. That's all very like Kali Ma magic or butterfly magic. Because, you know, butterflies liquefy their entire body while they're in the chrysalis, right? Before they get out and emerge as a butterfly. So there's that. Something to consider, just something to consider for you, you know, that I want you to like think about with that. So, you know, if you are experiencing crisis or loss as a Sag right now, don't fret, and I love you, and I hope that you're not, because Sagittarius you're literally the light of like the world as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm biased, my moon's in Aries, so you're my 9th house. Like I really experience joy from Sag energy, but you know, I really do believe that. So anyway, there's that for you. But the T-square thing is relevant because that's in your 5th house, Sag, your 2nd house, and that 8th house. So there's something with your possessions going through a deep transformation right now, Sag, because the 2nd house has the planets of death and rebirth and the planets of fate and karma there, and, you know, Jupiter amplifying all of that. So that's something to consider. And, you know, death and rebirth is Pluto, very 8th house theme-ish, and Saturn is the god of fate. So something fated and reconstructive and transformative, Sag, is happening when it comes to your finances. And, you know, just be aware of that. And also your love life is being, you know, under this loss and rebirth theme. So you could have a new kind of energy come up around you. I wouldn't advise starting relationships under the influence of this full moon. Any relationships started under the influence of this full moon are almost, I want to say, bound to have like really intense power struggles right now in that relationship throughout the fullness of time. Okay, so just be aware of those planetary influences. And, you know, the T-square again is Mars engaging that Venus energy, which is already stressed, you know, but she's strong in Cancer. She's strong, so she might be challenged, but she's strong. And you know, that's good dignity, in other words. And she's in water, which isn't a bad place for Venus, you know. Anyway, Mars being T-squaring here, and Uranus smoothing out all this we're about to talk about. But Mars, you know, is like literally like, I am the god of war, feel my rage, because he's conjunct Lilith, and that's just batshit crazy, you know, together. Like Mars, the god of war, Lilith is the unleashed feminine. So there could be, I read this as women are coming into like their yang energy right now in various ways. Just as much as they've been experiencing all this yin of Venus and Cancer, I think a lot of women are going to be coming into their yang, or forced, or feel forced to come into their yang energy, their masculine energy, because Mars is here with the asteroid Lilith, who is the unleashed divine feminine, and, you know, squaring Venus, the divine feminine. So, you know, the good news for Venus is that she is getting a really nice support system here from this Neptune. So that's why I think a lot of you Sag are going to be more so coming under a wise woman's influence, because Neptune is in, yeah, the 4th house, and it's in opposition with Mercury. But what other conversations is Neptune having? It's sending a trine to Venus, the planet that rules women, you know? So that's why I'm reading it like that. In case you want to up your astrology interpretation skills, I think that's like a really powerful tool, what I just gave you. Because whenever you have an opposition, truth be told, you're always going to find that it could go either way. You know what I'm saying? Like it could go either way. Like you could be having that in this house, or you could be having that in that house. But when you start to read the planetary relationship, Sag, that's when you get like next level understanding. So anyway, there's that. Also, side note, I'm teaching a course on astrology. It's a 3-month program. If you want to join us, there's a really dope crew of people developing. I'm keeping it small, so I want to make sure that if you are interested, you know about it. And if you're not, then cool, let it fly. But moving on, Mars is, you know, in this T-square, so it's asking us, this god of rage, like raw rage, you know, he's asking us to get in tune with our systemic structures and what's dying and needs to be rebirthed within them right now. And he's also asking us to pay attention to like divine femininity and how to utilize that in this process. Why do I know that? Because Mars is the god of strategy. It's Mars. He's a general. He's the sun's general. You know what I'm saying? Like Mars is the dude who goes and executes things, you know, when things need to be done. Mars is the dude. And he's also the apex of this T-square. And whenever you have the apex, that's the point that is the referee between all the tension, all this, you know, see the red triangle in the chart, right? It's like all that tension is being refed out or like supported out by this point, Mars. And also what's exactly opposite him, which is going to be late degree Libra. So you're going to be feeling that, especially if you have your sun and any of these other points, or any other planet at any of these other points. Just a side note. So there's that. That's just interesting, I think, for us all to maybe kind of sit with. But, you know, in conclusion, Sagittarius, I think with this 5th house here, speaking really tensely, you know, with this 8th house, you know, with your 2nd house, there's something about kids. If you have kids, definitely that's like a little bit more stressful, and you're being asked to like adult up over the situation. You know, if it's passion projects and you don't have kids, then there's something with passion projects coming up that's becoming like aware. You're becoming aware of like how much you have to invest, because the 8th house is not only loss and rebirth, but it's also investment, because it's like loaning money or taking money right out. So there's that to consider. And I think you're coming into some real terms. You're coming into your adult energy with all this earth trine coming in, and your 2nd house, you know, being activated, and your 6th house being activated. That's like work energy, but good work energy. I think career is coming forward here. I think while you have some questionable energy with this Neptune opposition Mercury in the home and in career, I think work is going to be a really good place for you, Sagittarius, in general, because the 6th house rules your every day-to-day work environment. And look, Uranus is there smoothing out this entire show. This entire operation has been brought smooth vibes, you know, sponsored by Uranus, which is deeply ironic, because Uranus is like the planet of commotion and explosion and like crazy, just like lightning and like random surprise events, you know, but Uranus is still there to like support you in this process. And that's from the 6th house, your day-to-day work environment, your grind, whatever you're putting time into every single day, Sagittarius. It's a source of enlightenment for you right now if you let it be. Trust and believe. Mark my words. I'm going to restate it. Your everyday work environment, wherever you've been putting in the grind as a Sagittarius, it becomes an opportunity as a source for enlightenment for you. It's a source of higher knowledge, in other words. Because look at the planets engaged in this grand trine. The Uranus, awakening, higher energy, spiritual awakening, Uranus, angels, Uranus, Jupiter, okay, which is literally also angels and divine kind of masculine energy, okay, and benefic, Santa Claus, hello, who doesn't want the presence of Santa Claus? You know what I'm saying? And then the sun, which is divine spiritual knowledge, knowingness of a higher calibration, you know what I'm saying? And Jupiter has a lot of that too. Jupiter is the wisdom, whereas the sun is the knowledge of it all. There's a slight nuance there. But I hope that, you know, this has served you, and you understand that through work environments, you can be having, yes, transformative, and yes, death, but also rebirth in your finances, Sagittarius. And even in your home environment with close family, like close kin, 2nd house, you know, and also throughout this house, which is your 10th house, your career. So work and career are involved, in other words, in this grand trine. And there's a lot of tension. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. But, you know, it's more psychological than anything, except this Mars that really wants to see us manifest our beliefs, because he's engaging by, you know, sign, Jupiter, which is all about beliefs. It's not by degree, but it's by sign. And beliefs in general on the planet are going through a death and rebirth phase right now. And Mars also wants us to be dealing with our femininity and learning how to apply more of our feminine construct with what we know needs to be dead and reborn, because all these planets are retrograde in your second house and Venus is not. So she is the clear of mind amidst all of this, in other words, as is Mars at the time of this moon. So, you know, there's a lot here. I could always talk for so much longer than I do, but I hope it did serve you. And if it did, Sag, hit that like button because it supports a sister. And, you know, why not? Make sure you subscribe if you're not. And with that said, my friend, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.